Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Thick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday, 2018 edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. First show of the year. Glad to be back with you. Spencer Israel, joined by Joel Elconin and Dennis Thick. Hope you all had a lovely, relaxing New Year's weekend and celebration, but we have news to discuss this morning in the markets, mainly analyst ratings, and a lot of them, it seems like our analysts were all out on vacation the last couple weeks, but they have come back with a roar to start the year. We have a lot of ratings, upgrades and downgrades and initiations to discuss today, so that'll be our main driver of conversation. Our guest, as he joins us every Tuesday, Nick Chahine. He's the author of Create Income with Option Spreads on Marketify. Joel, how's it going this morning in the S&Ps?
Good. Well, first we want to welcome you back, Spencer.
Thank you, Joel.
No technical problems at all.
That's good to hear.
To speak it out last week.
Good to hear.
Luke manning the controls. Luke, we're going to have to get him back on.
Luke, how was it? Did you have fun? Luke is giving the thumbs up. Luke had fun. Good.
But let's talk about the markets here, and deja vu all over again here. Buy the dip is working here in 2018. Wild close. We'll talk about that with Dennis when he comes on here. But the S&P futures, we are right back in that trading range that persisted for 8-9 trading sessions, trading up 8 at 84 even. Pre-market high right here at 84.75. We got 5 closes above here. Overhead supply at the 85.5, 87 area. We'll keep an eye on that. Crude. Will crude be $80 at the end of next year? Trading up 6 cents here at 60.48. Finally clear that $60 level with a couple closes here. So another sector in the market, little rotation, maybe getting into the oils this year. Gold continues this relentless move higher, up $4.50 at $13.80. Boy, oh boy, when will this gold rally end? And silver, silver's flat here at 17.13. And Bitcoin, we'll be talking about Bitcoin in a year from now. Who knows? But it's trading up a few percent. Got hit a little bit over the weekend. Last price in Bitcoin is 13,752. But Ripple is up 6% here at 2.36. So cryptocurrencies are still trading on the first day of the year. Dennis, how you doing? How was your long weekend?
Pretty good. A little bit of R&R. It's nice to get a little bit of rest, obviously, but ready to be back in the saddle here, looking at the Bitcoin play of the day. Just came out at 8 a.m. 3 minutes ago here. Look at BURG. We'll call it Burger, but it's Chanticleer Holdings. BURG just breaking at 8 o'clock. And I actually saw, as I thought about lifting the 310, and I was like, I don't know these plays, if they're as good as they were before. Well, it would have been a good one because it's up at 465 here now. And BURG, Chanticleer, first time I've ever heard of this company, Holdings to deploy Mobivity's blockchain technologies to power cryptocurrency rewards program. I'm not even joking it, to power a rewards program. And it's doubling. It's up 90% here this morning. I'm a fader of this pop, just like I'm a fader of all these pops and these things now. You can look at the ones from last week, like NVFY, gave it all back. These things do not hold these gains, in my opinion, here now. It's up at $5 here now. If I was long this thing, I would definitely be bringing the register, in my opinion. I don't think this continues. You see, I think $5. We'll see what happens. Just happened, 3 minutes ago here, but these pops are getting silly because they don't hold.
And Dennis, you read what they're doing in the crypto. Is it for rewards programs?
That's what it says in the. And all I read is the headline. Just read you the headline. Chanticleer Holdings to deploy Mobivity's blockchain technology to power cryptocurrency rewards program. I have no idea what this company does, Chanticleer Holdings, but if you want me, I could dig in a little deeper.
No.
The symbol is BURG. The owners and operators of several fast casual restaurant brands today announced plans to use Mobivity Mind, a blockchain architect platform for commerce and customer communications across brands, to power their groundbreaking Cryptocurrency customer loyalty and rewards program. Give me a break.
Chanticleer owns.
Give me a break. You're buying this thing up $5. These are people throwing money away, in my opinion. It just hit 5. I don't think it ever sees 5 again. I'm calling it right now. It's 4:35. It just hit 5 a minute ago. I think the high is in.
Chanticleer owns. I was going to say they own Hooters.
It's so dumb. I mean, it's just. You're right, Joel. It's just algos. They're grabbing, not just algos, it's other people. Oh, boom, they're grabbing because, blockchain. It's a rewards program. You're putting blockchain on a rewards program, all of a sudden your company's worth twice as much. Let's go to the weekly on burgers, BURG. Stock had one huge pop back. You can look, and I don't know if that was a reverse split or what it was back in April, when it went from 40 cents up to $4. 437 here now. They're trying to find buyers here in the low 440s, but I'll tell you, these things, just taking a note from the ones from last week, like NVFY, when it had popped up and it got up to, I don't remember, over $3 in the pre-market, I think, or maybe even 4, and it gave it all back. And I think these things now, here's 470, so maybe I'm going to be wrong with my $5 call because it's trying to kiss. Oh, no, I was wrong. I just went to 512. Anyways, 532. Hard to just come and short these things. Usually you can't borrow them anyways. But when the dust settles, it seems like these things give it back. It's a rewards program.
They own Hooters, Dennis. They own Hooters. Did you know they own Hooters?
I just said that.
Holdings owns
he
Hooters.
Didn't listen to you, though, Spencer.
Okay.
Did you hear what Spencer said? They own Hooters?
Chanticleer Holdings?
Yeah.
Yeah, but for a rewards program, it's not like they're changing the whole company based on blockchain. They put a rewards program on blockchain. And it's worth twice as much. This market's just dumb. I'm telling you, man. I'm starting the new year already on a rampage here. But this market is so stupid. I mean, it's the flat out stupidest market I've ever seen in some cases. Like who were the ones last week? One went from like $3 or $5 to $15, and it gave it all back to
Long Island.
Who was that? Remember?
Long Island.
The GCAP I was in. I wish I would have sold it all. I sold half my position on Friday up at $12.35, and it's down at $10, down $9.60 here in the pre-market. I don't know. They get crazy for about, the pre-market seems like. Then they open, the real liquidity comes in, and they seem to not be able to hold on to the gains. But we'll see. I was wrong with my $5 call, 547.
That's all right. It's fine.
I think the dust settles. I think you look at this thing in a couple of weeks, it's back at $3 or less.
All right, let's just see. It's ripping here, 5.5, 565. We're making higher prints. Not going to try and call top, but I'd say 584. If you're in this stock since December of 2013, you had a 584 print. So I would keep an eye on that. In December of 2013, it closed at 537. So see what happens at 584. Always a good target if you're long and you lifted an offer. Shorting this thing can be dangerous. But
can you short it? Let's go find out if you can short the burger giant. Maybe you can. I don't know. Let's go look. I'm going for a locate right now. See if you can short it. The URG. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's locates on this one. So that's interesting in itself. So anybody who's trying to short it right now, it's tough. It's tough. Like these things, you don't know when they're going to turn, and they go crazy. But I had a chance to lift 310. It didn't go right away. And I was looking, I was like, I should maybe take the 310. It was 261. I'm like, I don't know. Like some of them don't go. Some of them mentioned they're not all going now. So you got to be somewhat careful just randomly lifting offers that are, up 30-40%, because sometimes they don't go.
Go half size. Don't go the full lot.
You're still paying something. So I'm a rational trader, and this is just not my style of trading. Headline blockchain. Oh, the hype's gonna happen here. Let's get in front of the crowd. I mean, to a certain extent, I guess a day trading it's fine, but I don't know this stuff.
All right, let's move on.
If it was like you do a blockchain changing the whole company, it was on a rewards program. Give me a break.
All right, let's move on. Let's get some real news in here. And I know you're going to be busy. If you need to hop off here, Dennis, it's fine. I know you got a little down and dirty on the close there. I've seen a lot of tricks, but the old North Korea fueling Russia at 359.50 trick, unbelievable move. Took the SPOOs down, and someone was leaning that way the whole day. I mean, we also got to talk about the trading action from Friday, right? We open up and we make a new all-time high in the SPOOs by one tick, right? 98 even was the old double top. We get to 98 and a quarter, and we were basically heading down all day. And then sellers into the close. That news came out, and there was just no liquidity took this thing down to 67.75. The actual close was 76 even. But bad today, Dennis. Did you have to? Were you at your computer because it was the close? Or
I was on my computer. I was jumping on that, buying S&Ps off of it. Also, I do the arbitrage. I short stocks against it too. But I bought a pile of S&Ps off of that fall there, and I kept some of it naked too, just because this market always seems to be roaring back. And I'm glad I did, because I come in here this morning and it's like nothing happened. So, just looking at it from a SPY perspective here, we sold off. So let's go to the SPY chart on this one. We sold off, when the headline was just starting to break there. You can see it with about 10 minutes to go in the day. We start getting hit, and SPY was up to 267.75. And then, boom, in the last 30 seconds, we really sold off hard. That's when the headline North Korea broke. We went down to like 266.64. In the after-hours session, like right after, we were down trading the 265 handle. So we fell another buck. So basically, if you came in, after hours on Friday night, you could have been buying the SPY down the 265 handle. Coming this morning, right back up to the highs, 267.50. Can't keep this honey badger market down for any reason at all. Even when it looks like headlines, you start putting it all together, it starts looking like we're going to set up for World War III when Russia's starting to go into cahoots, potentially with North Korea. Market doesn't care about that. Market just cares we got to buy every pullback, man. That's what this market's all about. Buy the pullback. It's unbelievable.
Nice replay here from the trading action from last week. I mentioned that. We got 5 closes ahead. I'll just call it 24.86, the middle of those closes, and that's your pre-market high just under that area. So I don't know. Very interesting setup this morning. Kind of got to miss the breakout or the breakdown that we have on Friday. So very impressive. If this market holds these gains off the open, I will be extremely, extremely impressed, and we'll be convinced that we're taking. Why?
Yeah.
Because
it's sold off after hours?
Yeah, it sold off so hard after
hours. There's some error there, but you don't think money managers are coming in here licking their chops to buy for 2018 after up 25% last year? Thinking here we are, we got to come in buying again?
No, because we were in a definite trading range, and that Friday activity, I'm going to throw it out the door. If we break out above 98.25, that's a triple top up there, then I'm super bullish for the year, but I'm still looking at this 26.80 support, and I think you could tell there's not a lot underneath that, even though, it did happen after hours. So I'm still looking at the trading range. I'm not going to get opinionated in one way or another. I'm going to let price determine it, but still a long-term trading range. And if the bulls really want to get after this, they're going to take this thing the first week of the year over 2,700 basis the spoos. They got to take out those sellers at that area in order for me to get super bullish.
Burger still going BURG over $6 here, just back down under 6 now, 575. Crazy market. Let's look here. Jump over here to ratings land, because there is a ton. We could spend the whole show on ratings here. We know they've been in their slumber over the Christmas holidays here. There was hardly any analyst action. Well, they came out of the Christmas slumber here big time this morning. Just a ton of analysts. Let's throw it to Spencer. Where do you want to go? We've got so many ratings that I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I don't even know where. I would say, I guess Abbott Labs got a double upgrade this morning, so we'll start there. Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan upgrading ABT from neutral to overweight.
I'm happy about that one. I have owned Abbott Labs in my investment portfolio for a long time here. Still got it in there, so I'm happy it's trading up 3%. It's a big move for Abbott, though. ABT, this I believe is all-time highs here for Abbott once again. You think about how rough the drug stocks have been. 2 drug stocks that are just, been resilient, though. AbbVie and Abbott, both of those stocks, obviously they came from the same company from Abbott Labs originally. Both of those stocks still kicking up near all-time highs when you see a lot of the other drug stocks off significantly from their all-time highs. ABT trading up here at $58.94. I say $59. You just go to the whole numbers, hasn't been there before, and then 60 after that. That's how I trade them when they're making new all-time highs. You got to look at those whole numbers as resistance points.
And that's about all you can do. 59 even. That's your high print here. 58.94. 9,000 shares. Now, if you ask me how much volume it takes to move this thing nearly $2 during the regular session, it'd be quite a bit. So I'm just a little bit more of a a fader in this one just because it's just up on not much volume. Let's see what happens at that pre-market high of 59 even, and use your half and whole numbers. But Dennis, if we want to start the year out with a wager, this does not close over $59.
No, and that drug pops off and do get faded. So I think so too, even though it's at all-time highs. I'm on the same side. I think 59 can put a lid on it. If it does take out 59, then you go right to 60, and 60 is going to be big. I'm looking at the book. There's 11,000 in the book there right now, but it's early. So I think that book will fill up a little bit more. So I'm going to go back.
Yeah, but
there's 11,000 at 60. I see 6,500 at 59.5. I actually see 9,800 at 58 because it's never been to, has it been to 58 even?
Nope.
No, it hasn't even been to 58. So you got to go through a few whole numbers here. So it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think it opens over 59 either. We'll see what happens when the liquidity comes in. If it can take out 59, then you can think about 60.
I said
let's go Netflix. Netflix catching an upgrade from Macquarie here this morning. Spencer, details on this one.
Yeah, this is actually the first upgrade to Netflix since July 18th, but it is from
really.
Well, yeah, but this is from neutral to buy, neutral to outperform. Everyone is that's where they already were. Most of the analysts, right?
They're already at buys, on
right?
it.
They're already at buys and outperform. So this is just kind of a catch up. Like
you need to get like super buys out there.
Yeah,
they could all upgrade. There's a good point to be made there. I've never really thought about that from an analyst perspective. When every analyst is covering and has a buy on it, there's no potential upgrades to move the stock higher. How much do you think that can impact it, Joel? Because you think about this, how much, I would love to see a study done on how much, stock movement is just based on ratings. Like take out all of, the non-ratings movement and see what it does. And then put the ratings on top of it and see how much it's all ratings. Because you think about it, every time a stock, gets upgraded, it goes up a couple percent typically. So if you get 3-4 upgrades in the year, I mean, that's up 10% just on upgrades. If it gets 3-4 downgrades in the year, it's down 10% just on upgrades. You wonder how much of overall stock movement is just because of ratings.
Well,
there's a study for you guys doing PhDs out there. A study I want to see done. I've never seen it before. Isolate the ratings movement. And I bet you it's significant. I bet you could be up as much as half of the stock movement is just based on ratings. Earnings is going to be your big driver, but a second earnings on individual news, it's ratings, I think.
I'm shorting the amount of PhDs that we have in the chat room. Okay.
You don't think we got PhDs in the chat?
I don't think so.
I think we got PhDs that listen to our show up there.
Well, listen to our show.
We had PhDs. We had PhDs on the show. I think we got some PhDs that listen. We just need the students because they're doing their thesis. They need to, there's the one out there for you.
Do you know what the analyst stock of the year was last year? And it counted, you talk about 50%. I think this counted for 100% of the move.
GE probably.
GE
would be big on downgrades. There's a lot of them.
Upgrades.
Really
what about upgrades? What stock was just loved?
Driven by upgrades.
By upgrades. One after another. Spencer, I got it up on the screen, but don't look at the screen. Come on. What stock?
I don't know. You got me stumped here, Joel. Chat, what do you think he's going to go to? Or he's already put on the screen.
Yeah. Mickey D's.
It was. Yeah. It was driven by a lot of upgrades. I read like 3 in 2 days once. You're right. Mickey D's did get a lot of upgrades. How many upgrades last year? Spencer can give us his details. How many upgrades? Go to the pro and you can find this quickly. How many upgrades did McDonald's have last year?
In 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 upgrades.
7 upgrades for McDonald's last year.
That's what I see.
What do you think the average is? Well, I guess you can't say that because you get these, movements, or you get these drug news, and you get a lot of analysts chasing price. But
and a lot of them raised, and the other moves were maintained, but they kept on bumping up their price target. I guess that guy from UBS doesn't feel too good. he downgraded the stock on January 6th. And from buy to neutral, but the high price target on the street right now belongs to Nomura, who maintained a buy on this on October 17th with $183 price target. So holy moly, that's that to me, I can't think of a stock that got more rate. I mean, Apple, yeah, you get the headlines on it and stuff, but Mickey D's, because I remember I was just taking a fade in every one of those moves, and I'm glad I didn't. But anyways, let's do some of these other ratings.
Let's jump over here. Lululemon catching a downgrade from Citigroup here. So here's an analyst going against the trend because Lulu has been hot as hell. I guess they didn't like the candle from Friday. I don't like the candle from Friday either. I'm going to like the candle probably less from today. It's trading down another 74 cents here in the pre-market. What is the details on this one, Spencer? LULU downgraded. What they downgraded?
This is a downgrade from buy to neutral from Citigroup. They had previously upgraded from neutral to buy back on October 20th, and now a downgrade back the other way today to neutral. First downgrade to Lulu since July 25th.
Thoughts, concerns, Joel, LULU. This has been a hell of a year. It was in 2017, actually, a hell of a year for Lululemon. I mean, you could call it one of the comeback stories, especially not maybe if you go right from where it started the year because it got killed in the first quarter. But after the first quarter, we got down to under $50, and everybody's like, Lululemon story is over. Got down to $47. Then Joel started buying yoga pants.
Oh, yeah.
And the stock came all the way back. We're back.
See-through yoga pants, that is.
You wear see-through yoga pants. You wear those in the pool, don't you?
I hate yoga. You know, I did yoga once, and like I almost fell asleep. How do you win at yoga? How do you competitively beat somebody?
It's hard though. I've done it too. Like it is hard to do those, different. What do they got? Like downward dog and all the different stretches you do, and you hold those stretches for like a minute. Like it's exhausting. Boring though too. I'm too bored doing that.
All right, let's just wait. We'll get more comments from Nick because he's been picking on this one, and he hit a nice whole number 4 days in a row. Big seller at 80 over the last 4 sessions. Now we've backed off there. Your pre-market low is 7. Where we're trading right here at 77.90. So I don't know. I'd like to get a little bit of a bounce. Let's see what was the high close of the move. 79.25, 78.59. Maybe over the next couple of days, if you could rally back to this area, the close from Friday, I would like to try short. But man, this has got a lot of room on the downside. For the buy the dippers in today, I think I would stay away from this one because you do have a lot of room on the downside, and one analyst is downgrading it. Get another one tomorrow, who knows? But turn in the retail sector. I also want to alert our traders to XRT. That stock had a nice fake out, 45.5. That was your big level. They took it out on Thursday, but gave it right back. Was it on? Took it out on Wednesday. Let's see what days here. Tuesday, Wednesday, it took it out, came back down. So 45.5, still a big level in the XRT.
While we're on retail, before we get off it, L Brands upgraded this morning, neutral outperform at Baird, and Nordstrom upgraded at JP Morgan, underweight to neutral.
So L Brands going up and Nordstrom going up, JWN. Both those stocks trading higher in the pre-market here. Nordstrom's just kind of been sleepy. It hasn't, well, I guess you can't call it that. See, 38 to 48 there. I was just comparing it to the Macy's run and the Kohl's run. It's been a little muted compared to those runs because Kohl's in the same time period has gone from about $38 to 55, and Macy's has gone from a percentage basis more 18 up to 26. These are candles on some of these, though. Look at the Macy's chart. That one looks ugly. Let's look like a little head and shoulders happening there. Nordstrom getting a pop here, getting, a lift here on this upgrade, but there's overhead supply all over the place here. JW and Joel, thoughts, concerns?
Well, doesn't this seem like you're due for some really bad news in the retail sector?
I think so. Great point. Because here we've had this technical rally, we've had a short squeeze, we've had all these companies that, really were in the doldrums even 2 months ago. People talking about Macy's going to have to cut the dividend. We're saying on the show, I don't know if it's safe or not. Stock's down 17. We've really had, not that much, reported here. Let's hear how the Christmas, and this typically is the only thing. This is typically their best, season, obviously. They're coming through the Christmas season where these stores are busy, but we got to compare to how they were doing, not just quarter over quarter, but year over year. You want to see those sales and see how they were doing, because if they weren't blowing away last year's sales, it's been a hell of a run for a lot of these stocks here. Maybe they were overdone, sold off, but I mean, some of these have come back near all-time highs. Like we were just looking, like the L Brands run, and L Brands is still a long ways off its all-time highs, but we're talking about stocks went from 35 to 60 here now. I mean, you're upgrading it now. Where were you 2 months ago when the stock was trading under 40? Goldman upgraded when it was under 40. Goldman had the call on that. They were the ones that kickstarted the L Brands. You got to watch Goldman. I mean, say what you want about them, but they are influential. And that day, when Goldman upgraded it, it went up 3 points that day, the next day after they upgraded that night. And it's never looked back since. I mean, that was, the Kickstarter that kicked it all off. You can actually see it on the charts. It was the candle. Goldman upgraded the night of the 21st, and on the 22nd, it opened for trading. It opened at the lows around 37.02. It ran up to 40, and it's never looked back. Now, you get these analysts coming in and upgrading it now. Stock is up 75% in the last 3 months. Late to the party.
Yeah, how much meat on the bone is there still there? L Brands, if you're a pattern trader, you have a double top at the $63 area, 62.77, 63.10, high of the move, 62.95. So you know how this Lululemon, that $80 came into play? There's your play right there. If we get back up to the $63 area, 63.10 was the recent high of the move. And I just saw this. I'm not sure I was where I read this, but do you know Sears hasn't done any commercials like since September? They were talking about how much they were spending on advertising.
I saw a Sears commercial.
Really?
I thought I saw one. I thought I did.
Maybe in Canada they had one, but
well, Sears Canada's bankrupt, so I hope they're not doing commercials.
No, that's where did
Sears is in. Okay, so we have been watching the death of Sears for years here now. JCPenney too. I mean, you look at these things.
JCPenney?
Yeah, well, both of them really. You've had this retail rally, and all these stocks cannot get a lift. These stocks are on their death march. Just Sears, it's gonna have short squeezes. Like that, candle that we saw back after their earnings report back on the 30th, I would think it was. You're gonna see the odd short squeeze. You're gonna see the odd, 20% spike in the price. But this is just on a death march. This looks like it's going to zero. It's hard to just short these $3.53 stocks because all of a sudden, a rumor comes out and it pops to 5 or 6 in your face. But that being said, I would not invest in any of these Sears, JCPenney. These just look, you think about how long these stocks been out. Now it's $3.58. You've had a retail rally of awesomeness in the last November, December. Sears did not participate whatsoever. It's sitting right here at the lows. I mean, SHLD, the story is pretty much over here.
All right, SHLD, it says they hasn't run paid national television commercials since late November. And that compares with they're conserving cash. I mean, that's all you can.
Well, they have to.
Yeah.
This is in trouble. I mean, if you're buying this is pure speculation now. Because I think, you can say, oh, maybe some real estate. Maybe there's so much debt. And there's so much problems. I think eventually this thing's off the board.
And you talk about, relative strength or relative weakness. Horrible if this thing didn't rally. But we'll see. It's usually like a shoe to drop. Like, who's the first one to report Q4 earnings? Is it like Macy's or whatever? It seems like one comes out early, sets the tone, and then they just kill all the others. Target's had a nice move looking at the $66 area if it gets up there. Kohl's has had a nice move, though. That's backed off the high, 57.28, double top at 55. So rotation, Dennis, they got to rotate. They got to get out of these stocks so they can buy. I don't know. How's the IBB down? How's that looking? Is that that's had a little bit of a bounce, but
it's tried to bounce a bit. I mean, it's so much of Biogen and Celgene. You have to consider those obviously when you're looking at the IBB as well, but 108, it's an ugly candle on Friday. There was a few ugly candles. I mean, it was an ugly close on Friday, obviously because of the headline, but we're getting the gains right back. So we'll have to see how the market does at 9:30 when the real liquidity comes in.
All right, so we talked about the double upgrade of Abbott. Let's talk about a news stock that news at the end of the year, and who knows what's going to happen, a utility, PCG. Now, it had that washout date of 41.61, bounce back up, but Guggenheim downgrades the stock. Boy, a little bit late to the party again. They downgraded it from a neutral to a sell, Dennis. I don't know. I think it more.
They're somewhat late to the party here, and you also got Goldman, I believe, downgrading as well. So we got the whole double downgrade trick going on here. I don't know what to say. It really scares the hell out of you when they cut the preferred dividends. So now they didn't cut them; they actually suspended them. Spending means a lot of those that are cumulative are going to keep accumulating, obviously, and they might bring it back. But it's telling me they are very uncertain You don't just slash your preferreds or suspend your dividends if you are confident that you're going to be not found liable on all these wildfires there. And that's not the case here. So, when they slash those dividends and suspend them, it's telling me they don't know their liability. And that I don't like buying unknowns.
All right, boy, they had a washout day to 41.61 and rebounded. So that was a big volume day. So if you do get some backtracking, down 96 cents here at 43.87, really interesting, because after you had that washout day, you had series of tight ranges, very tight ranges. The top of that range is 45.19. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Several other highs at 45. On the downside, was really building support here at the 44.30 level. Now that will act as resistance. So below that, I mean, you're just not going to whoosh right back down to 41.61. Traded 52.4 million shares that day. But that's taken out the bottom of the trading range. So got to get back above 44.50 here in order to get this back in the rally mode. All right. Stock we don't talk a lot is getting a downgrade here from JP Morgan. Sirius Satellite. Downgrade from neutral to underweight. This one, Dennis, I had one buddy.
It doesn't move.
It doesn't move, but what about long term? What this thing's done? You could look at all the times you could have bought this thing for pennies for a long time and had a big rally up to 589. Looks like good support at 520, but this stock has had a nice move. It's not something you trade very often, I take it.
It's 5-7 cent ranges are tough to trade, to day trade. Yeah, maybe it's been a good investment. It's a good point there when it was under $1 back, from the financial crisis. And you're right, it was under there for a long period of time. They had that merger, with Sirius and XM radio for the longest time, and then finally got approved. And it's been doing well since. They've made money from me for the last 7 or 8 years. I've had a Sirius subscription, one Sirius subscription for probably the last 8 years. So I do have a Sirius subscription.
What's that run you?
But what's that?
What's that run you?
It's like $8 a month or something, $9 a month. If you call, then you get down like $5 a month. It's like they always wheel and deal with you, so you just got to call and you wheel and deal. And maybe it's $10 a month. I don't even know. Just hits my MasterCard. I'm probably paying top dollar because I'm too lazy to call. I should be calling, but the odd time you give a call and then they'll knock you back down. You just say, "Oh, I want to cancel," and they're like, "Oh, well, we can do this special promo for you, and get you down 50% for the next year." Like, okay, I stick around.
All right, GCAP, Dennis, you did trade your plan. You didn't quite get.
I sold half. I should have sold it all. I'm regretting it, obviously, because it's back down. So I sold half on GCAP up at 12. I think I got 12.35. I think was my price, or 12.40, somewhere there. I let it go for the open. I wanted to see where it was going to go. So it opened up and it ran up to over 13, but then it came back down. And when it took out the open, you know how I am. I take out the open, then I was concerned. So I kind of traded it from technical perspective. Breached the opening price. I was like, no, I'm out of here. So I sold half. That was my plan of attack, was to sell half. And this was in my longer term portfolio as a spec play. So I sold half. Nice gain from $7.50 to 12.5. Again, it was somebody in the chat that gave me that. So thank you, whoever that was in the chat back in November that was talking about GCAP. It pulled in, and now it's down 9.75. Now you got overhead supply here. So I don't know. I might stick with it just because it's got the dividend, and there's obviously a business here. It's not just a pure blockchain play, but that being, or a pure Bitcoin play. But GCAP, that's an ugly candle.
It came down and filled the gap though. Was very interesting. 987 low, $10 close, trading down in the pre-market. So I would say 980 to $10 holds in there, holds $10. I think we got a chance to go up. If not, I'd play it close to the vest. Your low from Thursday was 776, and then a double bottom at the 750 area. So if it doesn't hold here, I see another couple bucks on the downside, but let's see if it can regroup the troop here and get back above $10. Dennis, great point you mentioned there with the open. We talk about the opening prints, people buying off the open, watching that first 15-minute bracket, and boom, talk about a heatless trade. You come back down through 12.75. You never came close to seeing that level again. All right, Tuesday, 8:35.
Just before you go to 8:35, just give an update on Burger, BURG. It is back down under $5 here now. So I was wrong for a little while. It's back under $5 now, though.
That's
476 and leaking heavily now. BURG.
You should just 1,005.
I had the locate. I got locate on it. I could have did. Where did it get to? BR? We got over 6, didn't we?
620.
620. Yeah, I guess I should have pulled the trigger and shorted up there. Hindsight capital.
Yeah, hindsight capital.
Right.
All right, 8:35, and we're going to bring in Nick Chahine. He's the author of Create Income with Option Spreads. And Nick, we're going to get his take on the markets. Nick,
good morning.
Nick, how you doing?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And I was just wondering, I know we were going back and forth a little bit after the close on Friday. Now, did you step away from the computer during that quick sell-off, or were you able to take advantage of it?
I didn't do much with it. I can't remember exactly what I did at that point, but but I saw it fall off pretty quickly, and then you start hunting for headlines, and you can marry some headline. I can't remember what the heck it was, but it was something about Russia refueling North Korean ships or something. So anyway, the action was kind of surprising at the end, but really today people will probably be talking about how 2017 did, not rather how the last day of 2017 did. So case in point, we have a little bounce. So we're trying for that round number in the ES, the E-minis at 2,700 again. So let's see what happens. So what do you think?
Here. Yeah, give us your appraisal here. I think it's just kind of, we had that trading range like for 7, 8, 9 days. I was texting, we're emailing you back and forth. I'm like, we're gonna move out of here. I just don't know which way. And what a nice head fake on Friday. You go up, make a new all-time high, buy a tick, and then come off. Kind of basically leak all day, and then you had the news. So you're getting a replay of the trading range here, Nick, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is, but what have we done for the last few months, if not a year and change, is we kind of like plateau for a little bit. We bounce against teasing resistance levels, and then boom, we burst through them on the next somewhat good piece of news, whatever that is, or lack of bad news. So the propensity is still to go up from here because nothing has changed just because we roll over one digit in a year. We still have the same basic structure for the macroeconomic environment. So whatever happened last year is going to continue into this year, short of new headlines that are going to scare us off of buying dips. So they call it rotation, which is really, to me, is nobody wants to sell everything. They just want to sell whatever is not hip anymore and roll into something else that is hip. So I saw a downgrade of Lulu this morning, for example.
I was just going to go to that one. Lululemon, Nick, you've been picking on this one. Not your typical knit chart. I mean, kind of the fade move here. You're looking at this as a kind of a proxy for the retail sector. Talk Lululemon, what you have on, what you're looking for, and your overall thoughts on the retail sector.
Yes, I think it ran way too far, way too fast on the same premise it had just a few months, just because sentiment flipped. I don't think anything else flipped. So the way I shorted it, I may have mentioned it before, so sorry for repeating myself, but the way I shorted it, I decided to short it or the XRT. I started with the XRT. I had good timing. I just didn't feel good about it, so I got out of it and left the Lulu short because it was just longer term. And I thought to myself, okay, so everybody loves it right now, so I'm going to test short it via a very simple debit put spread for March. And it doesn't matter what level it is, but and in the meantime, because it was catching a little heat, I just sold a credit put spread that is shorter term, and that paid. So now I come into the other one, I can sit on it for a few days or weeks and really not need to decide anything unless Lulu spikes from here, from Fridays. And obviously it's not. So I'm sitting pretty on this one, and it's not a big trade. It's just a psychological trade to get me off the itch of shorting something big time. I don't like the short stocks, but this was just too fast, too far. And maybe it does fill the gap below. I'm not sure. But I don't think retail solved the riddle of everything else. Yes, they're selling more stuff online, but I think a lot of it is coming at the expense of cannibalization from their foot traffic.
Nick, it's a great point you're making. It's a point that Joel actually just brought up. He was saying that maybe there's potential for one of these retailers to report some disappointing, seasonal sales here, and that could put a whole damper on the entire sector if that was to happen here, because we forgot. we haven't really had any fundamental news coming from a lot of these companies here. And you're right, it's all just been a sentiment turn, a bit of a short squeeze. That started with a short squeeze that kicked this off, and then it's a sentiment turn. The retail bottom is in, everybody's buying these things back up, and some of them have been bought up to near all-time highs. I mean, the moves, like you were saying, looking at L brands or looking at some of these moves, even in Kohl's. I mean, Kohl's went from 38 to 55. We were talking about the 6-7% dividend, and obviously, on CBC, we've been talking about it, asking if dividend's even safe. And here, all of a sudden, you look at it and, the stocks, are trading up here, up 30-40% in a month. It's been crazy moves.
Yeah, so I put up an XRT chart, and you can see where there is an opportunity, technically speaking, on a trend line. This is a weekly chart, so if weekly they can close above that trend line, maybe they still invite more momentum buyers. But from here, if I was a betting man, and this would be purely a bet, because a bet that we've gone too far in the retail trade as a whole, that we may retrace towards the 42 level on the XRT before we go to, say, 48 or 49. But if they do close above that line, maybe they invite in a few folks that like to look at the charts and just follow the momentum, even still from here. They say buy high, sell higher.
One close, Nick? Are you looking for a couple closes? How do you do it? Because I think that's one thing that I try and go for more than one close here. Because like if you would have went for that head fake with a 45.5 and 46, is it one close, Nick, or close on volume, or
well? This is a weekly chart, so I think one should be enough for somebody.
Good point. Excellent point. Okay, let's talk about a stock that didn't have such a good year. Michelle K, I think that one of your buddies here.
Yep.
IBM.
One of my least favorite stocks. I don't know why. Psychologically, I just don't like it because they had a good company and they just messed it up. It technically speaking, it's pretty tight. So you have a big range because of that spike after the earnings, and I said short that, in my opinion. And the way to do it would be a debit put spread, because I don't want to sell calls or sell the stock itself. But I don't think they know what the heck they're doing still. The onus is on the bulls or the company to show that this is sustainable. Okay, so they're playing in the right zones right now, but have they done it correctly to go forward and say, okay, let's go with it from the fundamental perspective? Now, technically, it is exciting because something could break here up or down. You be the judge. So I know something will happen the next few days or week. I can't tell you which way, but if you know the fundamentals and you know something about it, higher lows and lower highs that are coming to a pinpoint usually resolve themselves with a breakout from that area. Breakout or break down, I don't know.
One point is funny, your dog, but I was making a bullish case for 2018 on Friday, just because I think they actually, we've seen all these blockchain pops, and you keep seeing these, stocks pop up. Like this morning, we saw this burger stock, BURG, apparently they're on Hooters. I didn't know that, popping up 79% because they put blockchain into a rewards program. All of these pops, I've been saying are pretty dumb. But that being said, I believe that blockchain, and, I know Sean Udall's been on our show saying it as well, that IBM is working on solutions with blockchain. So I wonder, even if the solutions, aren't going to be, groundbreaking, moving, if they start getting some headlines and get IBM associated with that that buzz with blockchain, I just wonder if they don't start getting a lift.
So buy Bitcoin. I don't know what to tell you.
But blockchain and Bitcoin are two.
What solutions to what? I guess I'm confused as to what kind of problems or that need solutions from IBM for blockchain. So if they do have technology to actually help the blockchain transaction, then okay, I'm on board with that. But like I said, onus is on them to actually prove it. So yeah, the headline will probably move the stock, and therein lies the opportunity that I'm talking about, that technically the stock will move. The direction is unknown. So if you think that there's going to be a headline relative to blockchain, then I would definitely, and the way to do it, you can do it safely in either direction. I don't like to buy to straddle. I'd rather pick a direction and go with that. So an at the money spread, puts or calls, depends on your guess, would do it, and give yourself time. So if you're doing it at the money, go out in time, because they cost the same. Because at the money, the spread will cost about half of what the total value of it. So if it's a $5 wide spread, it's going to cost you about $2.20, $2.40, $2.50. If it's a $1 or $2, you just split that in half. So that's the way that I would play my bet. And in this case, it's a bet, because I don't have any insight. I don't have any edge into its fundamental future, I can tell you that the stock looks like it's ready to pop one way or another.
DC1, a little while ago, asked about BBL and BHP Billiton. That's a sponsored ADR. They're in the fertilizer sector, right? Didn't we? Aren't they in the petrochemicals and stuff? And those stocks were moving up later in the week. This thing has just basically been straight up since $36. Made a high 40.94. I don't know if you follow this one, Nick, but any technical thoughts on BBL?
I don't follow it,
Those are
but
petroleum companies, by the way.
yeah, I know I know the name, but I do know that it's too high for me to do anything with it, me personally. So if somebody said, "Hey, check out the stock," I say, "Whoa, I missed it. Let me revisit it once it dips again," because I prefer going long something, an opportunity either on value or technical dip or something that I can actually trade. So from this perspective, from here on out, I can't go long it, and it looks too hot to short. So it's one of those, it's too hot to short and too late to chase it from here for me. It looks like the zone 39 to 37 or 36 was pivotal because they failed at it a few months ago, and then here they are, busted right through it. So where do they stop? I'm not sure, but to start chasing it for me from here, I missed it.
How about the cat here?
Oh my God.
The big year in 2007. I mean, straight up. I mean, look at this thing. 150 rocket ship. Holy macro. I know you're going to say it's too high, too hot to chase and too hot to short. Look at that chart here.
Yeah.
The cat.
It's, months ago, I drew a little white arrow saying, okay, technically it's, I wouldn't short this. If you extend it, actually, it looks, I should have done that. So I had no idea that 160 would be into view. I mean, this is just total insanity. From the perspective of thought, I mean, we supposedly are going to be building, we're going to make America great again, right? So we're going to be building everything. So do they get that big chunk of it? But it is what it is, and you cannot short it as high as it is, because if the markets in general are going to continue higher, unless there's a specific write-up on CAT, this is not shortable, even though you're tempted. I mean, look at this chart. It's unbelievably extended. However, why would I want to pick shorting that?
I know you.
If I short it, I'm shorting the markets in general, and that probably will fall really, really hard if the market's correct. But we haven't seen that happen.
All right. How about let's see here. We just got to Alibaba. I know you've been messing around on the long side here in Alibaba. Could you share your fundamental and technical thoughts on Alibaba?
Well, fundamentally, Alibaba, it cranks out the dough, apparently, unless they're cheating completely. So assuming that they're not. So with the reports, it is a fundamentally tradable company for me. So dips, I do credit put spreads in it. And I also did some calls I mentioned last time, and I kind of mismanaged the call trade. I danced out of it by flipping the debit call spread into a credit call spread, but I went heavy with the credit put spread. So I range traded it, broke out of it happily, and I haven't done anything since. But dips I would buy. I think it's doing well this morning. China in general, I think, is up overnight. Well, for the first day of the year. So fundamentally, if the wheels don't fall off this stock wagon that we have, any dip in Baba at these levels, I would attempt a long with a credit put spread. You just need to pick your time frame and levels that you're comfortable with.
And crude oil back above $60. Those supply concerns from last week, but technically speaking, here we are. Kind of like the untold story of the year. Crude back over $60. What kind of trading range you're looking for crude in 2018?
Well, crude is out of my trading range. I thought crude would be limited to closer to 55. But there have been a few headlines that got us up here, and technically, I think the technicals took over, and now there's chatter that it's going higher. So if I were to pick one direction or another, I'd bet down more than up, but I'm not shorting it based on that. And this morning, I think it was still butting against the 61 or over the last few hours, and I think there were skirmishes somewhere in the world. Iran, I think, and they're a decent sized producer. So I'm not sure if that's playing a part. I'm not sure that people, experts in that field, have seen this coming and maybe they pushed up the price based on that. So I'd give it some time and before I would trade it, for me personally. So from here, again, I'd sit tight. And I did trade crude indirectly by going long Exxon, stocks like Exxon. I sold naked puts when they were in the hated, and those were easy trades. So if that happens again, I'll do it again.
Nick, I just got to ask you about the whole cryptocurrency craze here. Bitcoin, one of the biggest stories of the year. We've been backing off. I have the chart of the GBTC here. You've been dabbling in these a little bit. Are you doing it just based on the technicals, or just tell us about your experience? And 1 year from now, when we're on Benzinga's pre-market prep show starting out 2019, what's going to be the outlook on the cryptocurrencies? They're going to be around? Is there going to be less of them? Is Bitcoin going to be at 20,000, zero? Just give us your overall thoughts on the cryptocurrencies.
Well, as far as what will be at what level, I think it's a guess for everybody. People say they're experts in this and experts in that. I believe people can be experts in the blockchain technology, but as far as experts as where Bitcoin is going to go, I stick to my guns that Bitcoin, you can't ignore it. It's technology. It exists, the blockchain. Now, the currencies I put currencies in quotes because it's not really a currency if it moves this fast. In my opinion, it's not practical. However, it is an asset, and it's a finite asset, even more rare than gold, apparently. And therefore, if people continue to want it, it will still be valuable. So if Bitcoin crashes, which I don't think it will, and people do invest in Bitcoin, I would think they would buy the dip. You can invest in Bitcoin craze by doing a little bit of homework and find out which companies actually can benefit from it, or completely go crazy and actually trade the names that are tied to it, like Riot. I went crazy and traded it last week. If it's tied to Bitcoin, it's going to move with Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin is going to go up, then you can trade the other company and proxy to it, because I don't think it's liquid to buy and sell Bitcoin. I think the settlement days, I think you mentioned it was 5 days or something like that. Plus, you need to have it in some sort of a place ready to liquidate. And sometimes you log in to trade it and you can't because they say we're overwhelmed with volume. So there are issues with, quote, trading Bitcoin. But I wouldn't short it just because it's 20,000. Let's put it that way.
All right. Nick Chahine, author of Create Income with Option Spreads, joins the show every Tuesday. Give us his fundamental and technical take on the markets. Thanks a lot, Nick. We'll speak to you again next Tuesday.
Looking forward to it.
All right. NETE just out with a $7.5 million investment in blockchain, and got a quick sprint from 11 back over 14 currently.
What was the headlines with this before? Like honey badger, goldfish memory here. I remember we talked about it went from like 5 to 15 and then up over 30. Was this already talked about with blockchain?
Yeah.
Is that why? This was already a blockchain play then. So this is just new investments. So it's not like it's a new blockchain play.
Correct. This has been around now, this play, for a couple months. So.
Okay. Well, anyways, you can see, at least a couple of weeks, you can see the move up to 33.51. I don't know. There's overhead supply in this thing too. Hard to get really that excited. I would say if you get up to 15, you probably got another resistance point there as well. Joel's our technical analyst. Give us some levels here, but this is just hard stuff to trade.
Yeah, especially with coming down off that 33.51 level. Just got over 14. So what I like to do is I kind of like to go to the daily charts, and you see that high just over $14. That's your 3-day high. So if you're looking for continued upside off this move, you got to take out the pre-market high, which also coincides with that high that you had at 14.38. So you're still nearly a buck over. Now, things like Dennis, you just mentioned, when you do get these kind of pops again after the initial surge, there's a lot of people own this from 24 to 34 scratching.
They got too excited.
Yeah,
they're hitting beds. There's overhead supply in this thing now. These things break out when there's nothing above. And then, because there's nobody there, there's no previous pain, there's nobody there to sell it. Once you've already been up there, then it becomes more difficult. It's like the GCAP thing here now, GACAP. It was going nuts on Friday. There was really nothing above here. I mean, the stock had not been up to this area. We had to go out to the monthlies. I haven't been up to this area since 2014. So, you got 4-year highs. It's breaking through everything. And, and then now it's pulled in. So now you get a little lift in GCAP, but now you have people like me even that are thinking, okay, well, I got some of this sticking, I've still got half my position on here. This thing gets up anywhere near half of the move, like 11 and a half, I'll probably take it off because I think there's overhead supply here now, even though maybe this is, really got some legs here because, they were saying, and then it was, who was it that came out with the report again? What was the analyst that came out with the report? Spencer on GCAP from Friday or from Thursday night.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Wait, from what? From Thursday? Oh, Mox reports. That was it.
Yeah, Mox reports. That's what I was trying to think of. Anyways, they came out with the argument this thing could go, 18 to $20 and even higher in the longer run because this was a better way to trade Bitcoin is what they were arguing, I believe, in the report. And maybe there is that argument there, but now you look at it technically and boom, yeah, we get the pop from 7 to 13, but now there's people underwater here. So I gotta think there's overhead supply here now, and I honestly think when you see pops in this now, they're going to be met with more selling pressure. So I don't think we're going to see that $13 there again. And I am long this thing right now, so I probably will be selling it sooner than that because that was an ugly candle Friday to give it all back.
It was. Dennis, 8:56, about 4 minutes left here in the broadcast. Any imbalances?
Oh, yeah, there's quite a few here this morning, actually. Alibaba, huge buy imbalance here. So I guess it's starting 2018 like it had 2017. It had so many buy imbalances throughout the year. 172,000 to buy in Alibaba here this morning. That is trading up 1.6% in the pre-market. So it's a nice lift for Baba. Remember, AABA follows that as well if you're trading Alibaba. General Electric, so we're getting a little bit of pop. And, we haven't talked about this yet. We're in 2018 here now. Sometimes you see the trades reverse for the first, week or two of 2018 because you've had the tax loss selling is done now in GE. Sometimes you get some people come in, interested, looking at that potential. Obviously, if you come in, you sold it and then you buy it, you can't, book those gains because you got that 30-day rule. But GE, 578,000 to buy here this morning. There's some institutions saying, I think, maybe there's an opportunity here for at least, a little relief rally in something like General Electric. Just jumping around to some other ones here. I see General Motors, 42,000 to buy. Abbott Labs, interesting enough, has a 50,000 share sell imbalance. Now, that is bound to change because it's got the double upgrade here today. But if you look, it has come in since that imbalance is posted. It was trading up near 59. Now it's at 58.5 here. So that's very interesting. If that's a stock that doesn't open up much, that might be a good opportunity there because typically when they do get upgraded, they do pop up. But it's interesting that, you get the double upgrade and now you got a sell imbalance there. I would imagine that's going to flip to buy, though, here sometime in the next hour.
Right, you have all those. Yeah, you have all those latent orders under the book. Below the closing.
That can hold it down too. 58's got 34,000. We were talking about 59. Not much there. 26,000 now. There is some heaviness in the book, so that is a good point there. The close way down 57.07. It could have trouble opening over 58. I'm going to need a little bit of an argument.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you know what? I'm going to start nibbling. Maybe I'm just nibbling a little bit here.
All right. No,
me nibbling on the short side. Never laughs.
28 full disclosure. No, when I looked when it was at right near $59, it was 7,000 shares have traded, and I just do the math on that plus the sellers in the book, double upgrade.
28,000 now. I think. I would still say it could open as high as 59, but I don't know. Maybe lower in that estimate.
All right. S&Ps have just made a new high, up 9 points to 2685. Like nothing ever happened on Friday. I just want to alert our traders here, investors, that until Friday, you had 5 closes. Let's just call it from 85.5 to 87. So now you're testing that area. I mentioned the all-time high up there at 98.25, and still just going to kind of throw out that break that you had on Friday. You get a replay the trade again above 25.80 here. Green skies ahead in the S&P futures. Spencer, good job today. Welcome back. We're glad to have you back here. What's on the docket for Wednesday?
Nate Tobik will join us on tomorrow's show. He runs CompleteBankData.com, a excellent small banks, or really all bank analyst, knows a lot about the financial sector. So we'll talk to Nate about that. But that's for tomorrow's show. If you want to catch our show from today or any of our shows from 2017 or earlier, you can go to youtube.com /BZTV or Benzinga TV, or go to SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher to catch our podcast on those platforms. Thank you to all of you who joined in our chat today, premarket.benzinga.com. Thanks to all of you who listen on YouTube. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. We'll be back with you on Wednesday.